Eggs are a familiar product for us. For us, this is a familiar breakfast. An omelet. Many dishes and baked goods consist of eggs, white or yolk. Every day we come into contact with this product, but we do not even think about its effects. And meanwhile, it secretly destroys our body. One egg contains almost the daily norm of cholesterol. So people who already have high cholesterol are better off not consuming too many eggs. The norm is 4 eggs per week. In terms of allergenicity, eggs can be placed on the same shelf as citrus fruits, whole milk, peanuts, and strawberries. It is the protein allergy that doctors put in the first position when listing the reasons why you cannot eat eggs, especially if it is in a severe form. Eggs should not be consumed in case of exacerbated pancreatitis. They should also be consumed with caution in case of liver and gallbladder diseases, since egg yolk has a choleritic effect and can cause an exacerbation of gallstone disease. People who are concerned about their heart health or have a history of cardiovascular diseases should learn how to separate eggs into whites and yolk. The white contains healthy and complete animal proteins, while the yolk contains animal fats, which are partly classified as harmful fats. If you suffer from cardiovascular disease, you do not have to completely give up eggs. Due to their content of antioxidants, vitamins B12 and D, and other useful substances and vitamins, eggs are considered one of the components of a healthy diet. So you just need to know the measure and not exceed the dose. 1 egg a day is enough. My dear friends, today we are going to dive into the fascinating world of a product that seems banal, but is far from it. The egg. This little treasure of nature is both a valuable ally and sometimes a challenge for our health. As an experienced doctor, I will guide you through its mysteries, benefits, dangers, and even funny anecdotes that will make you smile. Get ready for a long, captivating, and information-rich journey. You won't be bored, I promise. Imagine holding an egg in your hand. At first glance, it's just an ingredient for your morning omelet. But did you know that thousands of years ago, eggs were considered almost magical objects? In ancient Egypt, pharaohs offered them as symbols of life and prosperity. The Romans believed that breaking an egg could ward off evil spirits. Today, we boil or fry them without thinking. But behind that fragile shell lies an incredible nutritional power. Let's start with the basics. The egg is a small wonder of nature. It contains high-quality protein in the white, vitamins like B12, D, and A, and antioxidants like lutein, which are great for your eyes. The yolk, meanwhile, is a source of fats, some of which are beneficial, like omega-3s, but it also provides cholesterol, about 186 milligrams per egg, or nearly half the recommended daily limit. As a doctor, I'd tell you, 1 egg a day is perfect for most of us. But if you overdo it, your body might say, "Hey, I'm not an omelet factory." Be warned, though, eggs don't get along with everyone or every food. For example, mixing it with products that are too high in saturated fat, such as excess butter or heavy cream, can weigh down your digestive system and increase the risks to your heart. Also, avoid eating it with very sweet foods, such as jams or syrups, especially if you are watching your blood sugar. The contrast between the fat in the yolk and the fast sugar can disrupt your metabolism. And if you suffer from gallbladder problems, be wary of dishes that combine eggs with fried foods or heavy oils. The yolk stimulates bile, which can cause pain or worsen a gallstone attack. Let's move on to the fun facts, because eggs are also a source of surprises. Did you know that the world's largest egg comes from an ostrich? A single ostrich egg weighs about 1.4 kilograms and is the equivalent of 24 chicken eggs, enough to feed an army with a single omelet. And get this, in 17th century Russia, eggs were used to predict the future. They would crack an egg into a glass of water and interpret the shapes of the white. Today, they are eaten instead, but who knows? Maybe your next fried egg will tell you if you are going to win the lottery. The egg also has an artistic history. In the Middle Ages, painters mixed the yolk with pigments to create tempera, a paint so durable that some works have survived for centuries. And did you know that in 2011, a fossilized dinosaur egg was auctioned for over $70,000? Proof that even fossilized eggs retain their value. Closer to home, in modern kitchens, chefs are competing in ingenuity. Poached, scrambled, cloudy eggs. It's a chameleon food that adapts to everything. But let's be serious for a moment. The egg has its gray areas. For some, it's a sneaky enemy. Egg allergies, especially to the white, affect about 2% of children, and symptoms range from redness to breathing difficulties. If you feel this way, put your eggs in quarantine and consult a doctor. Another danger? Cholesterol. Yes, recent studies say that its impact varies from person to person, but if you have a history of cardiovascular disease, it's better to limit it to 4 or 5 eggs per week and favor the whites. And for people with acute pancreatitis or liver disease, the yolk is a troublemaker. Its cholagogue effect can trigger attacks. Let's add a lesser-known risk, salmonella. If the egg is not cooked properly or stored properly, this bacteria can turn your breakfast into an intestinal nightmare. My advice? Cook them well and store them in a cool place. But let's not ban eggs just yet. Let's talk about egg diets, which have been very popular in recent years. The hard-boiled egg diet, for example, promises to help you lose weight quickly. You eat 6 to 10 eggs a day with vegetables and few carbohydrates. The advantages? Eggs are high in protein, low in calories, about 70 per egg, and they keep you full for a long time, which reduces cravings. Studies show that this type of diet can help you lose up to 5 kilos in 2 weeks. But there is a downside. Too many eggs over a long period of time increase LDL cholesterol, the bad in some people. And this diet lacks nutritional diversity. Without fiber or complex carbohydrates, you risk fatigue, constipation, and deficiencies. As a doctor, I say yes for a short cure, but not for permanent life. Did you know that the color of the eggshell depends on the breed of the chicken, not the quality? Brown eggs often come from red chickens, white ones from white chickens. Simply a question of genetics. And does a fresh egg float or sink in water? If it sinks, it's fresh. If it floats, it's old. A fun little cooking test. In Japan, raw eggs are eaten on rice, tamago kake gohan, a tradition that shocks some Westerners, but is safe thanks to strict hygiene standards. If you crack an egg on the floor, it's not just a culinary disaster, it's a work of modern art. But beware of those who eat too many. A man in the 1980s tried to break a record by swallowing 25 raw eggs in one go, and ended up in the emergency room with a memorable bout of indigestion. And for vegetarians who are hesitant, technically an unfertilized egg is not a life, but some prefer to avoid it for ethical reasons. And the shell in all this? Don't throw it away. Rich in calcium, it can be crushed to enrich your garden, or even as a home remedy for heartburn. Well cleaned, of course. In the kitchen, the egg remains a king. It binds sauces, puffs up soufflés, and makes cakes moist. But if you combine it with acidic foods, like tomatoes in large quantities, watch your stomach. Balance is key. In conclusion, my friends, the egg is a culinary superhero with a double-sided cape. It nourishes, it heals, but it can also challenge your health if you ignore its limits. My prescription? An egg a day, vary your dishes, and listen to your body. So, what will you do with your next egg? Tell me about it, because this little miracle will never cease to amaze us.